My name is Nick Caravella. I'm with Avocado Construction Technology Services. We sponsored the topic of the opposing waste, which was all focused on understanding how design decisions create catastrophic construction impacts on the way we deliver buildings. So the how might we statement has evolved into how might we redefine industry standard deliverables with collaborative intent in ways that provide investments to the team structure and reduce waste so that expert-informed decisions can mitigate catastrophes and rework. What was great is we had owner representation, contractor representation of both specialty and general, design and engineering in the room to have a conversation about how can we rethink the way we approach projects and even perhaps throw away the way we've traditionally built things to create a more collaborative space. As we started to get into the barriers and the problems that we face that ultimately result in that rework and that waste and that pain, it came down to the way we've always done it. We've had contracts, regulatory, waterfall team structure. No matter how the contract is written, design is passing the ball over to the fence to construction. They're inheriting the pain of the inexperience of actually building the work. And these folks, unfortunately, aren't involved on the front end enough to help inform the design. So one of the fundamental things we realized is that the way this system is built does not reward contractor involvement in design process. And so in order to kind of fix things, we had to rethink the wheel through which we operate the way we build. And so we changed phases altogether, moved to 5 new phases, a design bid process that actually allows contractors and key specialties to be involved on the design phases, where then we have a design phase that's really driven about extracting programmatic and performance requirements, to construction modeling, a collaborative exercise that actually brings in the contractors to a collaborative VDC approach that can enable digital twins and separates all of that design value from the building cost, which can then happen at procurement. And I think that's one of the big pains where contractors and subcontractors get squeezed, is all of their services and general conditions get rolled up into a bucket that's a construction item rather than a design item. And so by separating design bid and procurement, you kind of get that market price flavor of a building that you might find on a menu, but that's where you can compete with the suppliers and the vendors and have a collaborative design approach. That then goes into construction, where now the design teams start to really be more of a support team, and the experts who are doing the building actually own the authorship of their approach. And so we built out this little wheel here, the lighter blue being design, the darker green being more of your construction. And the idea is that this wheel of responsibility changes as the project progresses. So to put it simply, in the very beginning, it's more of an 80% design, 20% construction expertise inform in the program approach around systems and building typology and the way we approach things. And then as we get into that phase of construction modeling, starts to turn. Now it's 60% design, still providing that design intent and vision and management effort. Going more to 40%, the shops are actually being built into the model, creating a more realistic digital twin that we can measure and build from. And then as we get into procurement, now we're adding that submittal data, pricing, everything directly into the model. The construction teams are now 60%, design teams 40. And then as the build goes on, now 80 to 20, where the builders are doing the work and the design teams are really providing troubleshooting and advice to help with those challenging conditions that may have still not been considered. There's so much value that specialty contractors can contribute to the design phases of projects. And inherently, the way these things are set up today, they're never brought into the room early enough. And so we focused on actually creating a new way to price buildings by creating a design bid phase, allowing more teams to come to the table early to enable construction modeling to get to a realistic and approach and enable an actual digital twin that we can use for not only construction, but also operations. And then ultimately, then put the power into the pricing of procurement, where the suppliers are the ones who are actually driving the cost of a building, not the laborers who are creating the value on the design and the approach. And we think this approach really helps give design authorship to the trades, allows them to take the pride in their work that we sometimes have been taken away from them by over-designing and over-documenting buildings. This will eliminate architecture teams having to draw 8 pages of casework that they really have no business drawing. And I say that as an architect. and really start to foster that spirit of shared collaboration across the entire delivery of the model.